Shrimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhani Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. So reciting from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 6th chapter, texts 40 to 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Visudam Kevalam Jnanam Pratyaksh Samyaj Vivistitam Satyam Purnam Anadyantam Nirgunam Nityam Atvayam Visudam Kevalam Jnanam Pratyaksam Yag Avistitam Satyam Purnam Anadyantam Nirgunam Nityam Advayam Visudam Kevalam Jnanam Pratyaksam Yaj Avistitam Satyam Purnam Anadyantam Nirgunam Nityam Advayam Visudam Kevalam Jnanam Pratyasam Yag Avistitam Satyam Purnam Anadyantam Gunanam Nityam Advayam. Someone could chant.
Messages?
Okay, so the next verse I'll read myself. Rishe Vedanti Munaya Prashantat Mindriya Shaya Yadatad Evasat Tarkais Triyodi Yeta Viputam. So considering the lengthy purport, I'm just going to read the word for word myself. Visudam, without any material tinge. Kevalam, pure and perfect. Jnanam, knowledge. Pratyak, all pervading. Samyak, in fullness. Avistitam, situated. Satyam, truth. Purnam, absolute. Anadi, without any beginning. Antam, and so also without any end. Nirgunam, devoid of material modes. Nityam, eternal. Advayam, without any rival. Rishe, O Narada, O great sage. Vedanti, they can only understand. Mudaya, the great thinkers. Prashanta, pacified. Atma, self. Indriya, senses. Ashraya, sheltered. Vada, while. Tat, that. Eva, certainly. Asat, untenable. Tarkai, arguments. Atiraha, diyeta, disappears. Viplatam, distorted. Translation. The personality of God is pure, being free from all contaminations of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all-pervading, without beginning or end, and without rival. O Narada, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when completely freed from all material hankerings and when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is distorted and the Lord disappears from our sight. Purport. Here is an estimation of the Lord apart from his transcendental activities in the temporary material creations. Mayavada philosophy tries to designate the Lord as contaminated by a material body when he accepts the forms of incarnation. This sort of interpolation is completely denied herein by the explanation that the Lord's position is pure and unalloyed in all circumstances. According to the Mayavada philosophy, the spirit soul, when covered by nescience, is designated as Jiva, but when freed from such ignorance or nescience, he merges in the impersonal existence of the absolute truth. But here it is said that the Lord is eternally the symbol of full and perfect knowledge. This is his specialty, perpetual freedom from all material contaminations. This distinguishes the Lord from the individual common living entities who have the aptitude for being subordinated by nescience and thus becoming materially designated. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Vijnanam Anandam, full of bliss and knowledge. The conditioned souls are never to be compared to him because such individual souls have the tendency to become contaminated. Although after liberation, the living entity can become one with the same quality of existence as the Lord, but his very tendency is to become contaminated, which the Lord never has, makes the individual living entity different from the Lord. In the Vedas, it is said, Sudam apapa vidam. The individual Atma becomes polluted by sin. But the Lord is never contaminated by sins. The Lord is compared to the powerful sun. The sun is never contaminated by anything infectious because it is so powerful. On the contrary, infected things are sterilized by the rays of the sun. Similarly, the Lord is never contaminated by sins. On the contrary, the sinful living entities become sterilized by contact with the Lord. This means that the Lord is also all-pervading like the sun, and as such, the word pratyak is used in this verse. Nothing is excluded from the expansions of the Lord's potency. The Lord's potency. The Lord is within everything, and he is all-covering also, without being disturbed by the activities of the individual souls. He is therefore infinite, and the living entities are infinitesimal. In the Vedas, it is said that only the Lord alone exists, and all other existences depend on him. He is a generating reservoir for everyone's existential capacity. He is the supreme truth of all other categorical truths. He is the source of everyone's opulence, and therefore no one can equal him in opulence. Being full of all opulences, namely wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, certainly he is a supreme person, and because he is a person, he has many personal qualities, although he is transcendental to the material modes. We have already discussed this statement. Itam bhuta guno hari. That's from Bhagavatam 1:7-10. His transcendental qualities are so attractive that even the liberated souls, Atmaramas, are also attracted by them. Although possessed of all personal qualities, he is nevertheless omnipotent. Therefore, personally he has nothing to do, for everything is being carried out by his omnipotent energies. This is confirmed by the Vedic mantras, Parasya Shaktir Vividvaiva Suryate Swabhaviki Jnanam Bala Kriya Cha. This suggests his specific spiritual form, which can never be experienced by the material senses. He can be seen only when the senses are purified by devotional service. Yam evaisha vrinute tena labhya. As such, there are basic differences between the Lord and the living entities in so many respects. No one can be compared to the Lord, as the Vedas declare. Ekam avad vitayam brahma dvaitadvai bhayam bhavati. As such, there are basic differences between the Lord and the living entities in so many respects. No one can be compared to the Lord, as the Vedas declare. Oh, I just read that. Okay. The Lord has no competitor, and he has nothing to fear from any other being. No one can be equal to, nor can anyone be equal to him. Although he is the root of all other beings, there are basic differences between him and the other beings. Otherwise, there would have been no necessity for the statement in the previous verse that no one can know him 100% as he is. As he is. Nayam vedanti tatvena. That no one can fully understand him is explained also in this verse. But the qualification for understanding to some degree is mentioned here. Only the prasantas, or the unalloyed devotees of the Lord, can know him to a greater extent. The reason is that the devotees have no demands in their lives but to be obedient servants of the Lord, while all others, namely the empirical philosophers, the mystics, and the fruitive workers, all basically have some demand. And as such, they cannot be pacified. The fruitive worker wants some reward for his work, the mystic wants some perfection of life, and the empirical philosopher wants to emerge in the existence of the Lord. Somehow or other, as long as there is demand for sense satisfaction, there is no chance for pacification. On the contrary, by unnecessary, dry, speculative arguments, the whole matter becomes distorted, and thus the Lord moves still further away from our understanding. The dry speculators, however, because of their following the principles of austerity and penance, can have knowledge of the impersonal feature of the Lord to some extent. But there is no chance of their understanding his ultimate form as Govinda, because only the amalatmanas, or the completely sinless persons, can accept pure devotional service to the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Ye sam tvantva katam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drita vrata. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarane. So here it's mentioned that Krishna is a person and he has personal qualities. So in so many places in the Vedic literature, these qualities are described, such as the nectar of devotion. There's Krishna's 64 qualities, such as he has beautiful bodily features, auspicious characteristics, He's pleasing, effulgent, strong, ever youthful, wonderful linguist, truthful, pleasing talker, fluent in all languages, highly learned, highly intelligent, genius, artistic, clever, expert, grateful, determined, expert judge of time and circumstances, seer by the authority of the scriptures, pure, self-controlled, steadfast, forbearing, forgiving, self-satisfied, grave. In this way, he has so many qualities, like he's beautiful bodily features. He's the most beautiful in the whole creation. All beauties come from him. His face is like a lotus flower. His eyes are like lotus flowers. His feet are like lotus flowers. In this way, his different beautiful things are compared to him. But actually, this just gives us some idea of the beauty of the Lord. Actually, these things, they cannot really compare to the beauty of the Lord. Just gives us some idea. And he has effulgence. The effulgence of the Lord is the Brahma Jyoti, and from that effulgence, the sun gets its illumination. In this way, the material world has light in it. So from Krishna comes the sun, and of course, he's the strongest. These are the different six opulences also that are mentioned by Parasara Muni. He's the wealthiest, the strongest. He's all famous, all beautiful, like that. So he's the strongest. As we know, when he was 7 years old, he lifted Govardhan Hill on the little finger of his left hand. And even when he was a little baby, Putana came to try to kill him, but he killed Putana. And his form is Anantasesha. He's carrying all the universes or all the planets on the hoods of his head. So in this way, he's the strongest. Nobody can compare to his strength. And of course, we know that he's ever youthful. He is never appears as an old man. Although he's the oldest person, he only appears to be 16 or at most 25 years old. And the materialist, or those who are less intelligent, sometimes they depict God as a very old man with a long beard, but this is simply their mental concoction. So he's also highly learned. He has full knowledge. This is the difference between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the different qualities, one of the qualities mentioned a lot is Satchidananda Vigraha. So the Krishna has these qualities, and because we're part and parcel of him, we also have these qualities. So of those three qualities, there's eternity. So Krishna is eternal. We're also eternal. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So we are both eternal. As far as bliss goes, Krishna is unlimitedly blissful. And it is stated that if we serve Krishna, if we come in contact with Krishna, then we become as blissful as Krishna. Just like they probably gave this example of the car. If a car is running along and you're riding on a bicycle and you catch hold of the car, then you go on the same speed. So in this way, we could be as happy as Krishna. But when it comes to knowledge, that's when we cannot compete with Krishna. There's no rival in Krishna's knowledge. He knows everything. He knows what's in our heart. It's mentioned that even though no living entities know what's in anybody's heart, except it's stated that Yamaraj, he knows what's in the heart of all the living entities within this universe. But this is only one universe. But Krishna knows what's in the heart of everyone in every single universe. So his knowledge is complete. And he's artistic. we're so attracted to a beautiful painting. But that painting that painting takes so much time and effort. But what about like the flowers that have beautiful colors? Those are painted by Krishna. So he's the greatest artist, and he's controlled by love. Although he's the supreme controller, out of love, he is controlled by his devotees, like Arjuna, like Mother Yasoda. And he is supremely wealthy. Krishna is the wealthiest because he owns everything. He owns everything. So somebody may say, well, why is he the most wealthy? Why does he own everything? One of the reasons could be given why he owns everything is because he controls everything. He's the supreme controller. So just like if you have a company, it may be in a trust, and you may say, I'm just a trustee, like that. I don't own the company. It's its own entity. But if you are the controller of that company, then you actually own that company. That's what it comes to. So Krishna is the wealthiest. He's the supreme controller. He has full renunciation, just like he was during the rasa dance. He left the gopis because they became proud of their service. So he left them. So he wasn't attached. The gopis are described as so beautiful that they are much, much greater than the women of the heavenly planets. But Krishna did not care for that. He simply left. He's completely renounced. And he's omnipotent. Everything is being taken care of by his different energies. Just like Prabhupada gave the example of one man, I think it was his godbrother, his German godbrother. He saw different deities in India, and he saw that this deity is doing this deity is, chastising the demons. But Krishna is simply playing his flute. So he can understand that this must be God. So this is God. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to go to the factory. He's simply engaging in his loving pastimes. So it's described that the devotees have no demand. The different karmis, the fruitive workers, the mystics, the empirical philosophers, they all have some demand. And in this way, they cannot understand Krishna because of their demands. A devotee has no demands. He's described as desireless. He has no desire. No desire means for a devotee that he only desires to serve Krishna. That's his only desire. He doesn't want liberation. He doesn't want mukti. For serving Krishna, he's compared to go to hell. He doesn't care. Simply, I want to serve Krishna. So in this way, he only desires Krishna, to serve Krishna. And so this is real desire. This is our desirelessness, to only serve Krishna. So if one is a diseased person, to desire to become healthy, that is not a bad thing. But if one's diseased and one wants to be further diseased, then that is a bad thing. So in this way, we should become desireless, only want to serve Krishna. So in this way, we can understand Krishna, and we understand Krishna by hearing from the Vedic literatures, by hearing from the spiritual master. And this way, if we understand this without speculation and sincerity, then we'll get perfect knowledge, and we'll get complete understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, hearing this knowledge, we understand that this material world is a very, very precarious place. At any moment, death will come. Any moment, as it is said, death is sure. So no matter how much wealth, how much opulence or education we can acquire, at any moment it will be taken away. So those who are intelligent, they desire to solve the real problems of life, namely the repetition of birth and death. This is a real understanding. This is real knowledge. Not this so-called eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This is not real knowledge. And Krishna is so kind, he appears as death, and he takes everything away from us so that we will understand that this material world is not our actual home. So the devotees are merciful to the living entities, as the one saying goes, love me, love my dog. So why should, because we love Krishna, therefore we're interested in helping the other living entities understand Krishna. Otherwise, why should we work so hard? Let them go to hell. But a devotee, because he loves Krishna, he wants to help other living entities become Krishna conscious. This is a sign of love. Otherwise, if you say, oh, I love Krishna, but you don't want to do anything for Krishna, then this is simply nonsense. Prabhupada gave the example of his spiritual master. He said that his godbrother, the goddess brother of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his brother would criticize Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. But what did he do for Krishna? But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he produced me, Prabhupada said. He produced Srila Prabhupada. In this way, Prabhupada spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. But what did he do? So simply to criticize is of no use. We want to see something practical. We want to see something practically done. So in this way, we have to do things practical. We have to engage in preaching Krishna consciousness. So there are various types of preaching in Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada emphasized these, and he wanted them all to go on simultaneously. He wanted us to distribute books and preach in colleges. He wanted us to worship the deity and have others come and see the deity. He wanted us to distribute prasadam. He wanted the Varnashrama established in America and throughout the world, and he wanted us to have farm communities. So we should be very serious about carrying these instructions out by setting the example. For example is better than precept. Just like I stated previously, Prabhupada was saying that simply to criticize will not do. Will be no use. We have to do something practical. So we may criticize the karmis. Oh, they're doing this and that, and they're materialists, and they're simply working in the dungeons and the factories. But if we don't do something practical ourselves, then it will be of no use. And as I said, example is better than precept. So in this way, by showing by example, we'll encourage them to take up the process of Krishna consciousness and to purify their lives. So this Krishna consciousness is to purify the living entities. The living entities that simply engage in materialistic activities are compared to animals. They have no intelligence. They simply engage in material activities. And specifically, Srila Prabhupada mentioned about the communists. He said the communists are big animals. They are very, very dangerous. And this communism and this capitalism is there, but this has been going on for a very, very long time. It's known as Deva Asura. So the fight between the demons and the demigods. So it is here in this world, just in a different name, the capitalists and the communists. Of course, the capitalists are 80-90% demons. So this is their situation. But Srila Prabhupada said they could be rectified. You could rectify them. In this way, they'll be able to fight the communists. So the communists, they say it's all one. There's no head. It's simply we're all doing the same thing. But no, in Varnashrama, there's different divisions. There's the head, there's the arms, the belly, and the legs. Not simply the legs. So there's the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Sudras. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned how by this Varnashrama, we could show how to, we could show them, we could defeat this communist philosophy like that. So in this way, we have to preach Krishna consciousness. In this way, we become purified, and we will make other people's happy. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments on any of these points? Yes.
Haribol Prabhu, thank you. You said for the devotees there are no demands. The karmis, the jnanis, the impersonalists, they always want something. We want.
Yes.
So and then you were describing the qualities of Krishna. The qualities of Krishna, which we, the living entities, we have to a minute degree.
Yes.
So let's say I'm not at that level yet. I'm trying to be a devotee. I don't call myself a devotee yet. I work outside, I go to school, I do so many business outside, so I have demands. I want something. So how could you explain them or encourage them to become to that level? How can I become?
Well, by
purified?
Following the process of Krishna consciousness. Just like Prabhupada said, if you live in the community, you should take advantage of the temple program. You should take prasadam at the temple. The food that's cooked in the temple should be offered to the deity. So in this way, if you're here at the temple, you could take nice advantage. Prabhupada gave the example of the stock market. If you live in the New York, or you have with the New York Stock Exchange, you could deal with the stock exchange very nicely. But you could deal any place in the country. So if you can't live at the temple, then you could have your own house, you could have your own deities, and have the program, rise early in the morning, 10 Mangalartik. In this way, you could advance in Krishna consciousness. So there's no bar, there's no any position one's in this world, it will not stop one from becoming Krishna consciousness if one is serious. So in this way, one has to engage in Krishna consciousness. You want to say something? No? Okay. Okay, so we can stop there. Thank you very much. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.